The living room, where the family meets to discuss issues, any issue which may be bothering one of the family members. That's what we do each and every Tuesday on WAC 90.1 FM with Ricardo Mitchell and DJ Aaron 868. We have casual conversations on serious topics, from sports to culture, mental health to economics, relationships to life lessons. Join us each and every Tuesday on WAC 90.1 FM. The living room, casual conversations on serious topics.
First and foremost, let's kick this off as you always do, alright? Must give thanks and praises to the Almighty for granting us the gift of life and seeing another day. No matter what time of day it is, you must always
give thanks.
Secondly, we must say thank you to those that went before us. We are not just talking about our ancestors, the original inhabitants of Trinidad and Tobago, because we all know, accept, reiterate, and say it with the chest that Columbus lied, but also to our brother in music, Tony Prescott, where the P this week stands for
Promise, brother. Promise.
Wait and see how we go to this.
Yeah, they coming from two uses of the word promise. The first being that Tony P talk a kind of life into us just now.
Right.
You know, about the promise that we've shown and the progress that we've shown over the years.
Mm-hmm.
The second use of promise is going to be, well, a promise that we bring him in the living room.
Yeah,
to school us on culture.
Now, we had to talk some culture with Tony P, because what I really do appreciate is that you can't know where you're going unless you know where you come from.
Mm-hmm.
And to know where you come from, you need to have conversations with those who have been doing their thing for years on top of years. And we know that Tony P is a man that has been doing his thing for probably as long as you and I have been alive.
All I see is my singular, most epic carnival moment was when I was in Form 2 and all aboard was the Juve track of choice, chipping on the promenade, going on the hill by the
Black Stallion Street.
That's what it is now?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just saying, it will be an honor. It will be an honor to have a conversation.
Right. If you don't know the voices, this is the living room with yours truly, DJ Aaron 868. I remind you each and every time that culture is my code, alongside my bro with no fro but a lot of flow.
Ricardo Mitchell, the social stage on the global stage, man.
And we are here today. We are joined by a young man who, according to his Instagram bio, just a young man that loves to fight. Right? which is to some extent, if you just take that at face value, that's just misleading.
Right. And that's where you start with.
That's what I start with.
Nice one.
Because you know, there are three ways to get people interested in what you're talking about. And I just jump out of the box with something controversial, so people listening loud now.
Right.
They're attentive to hear, wait, he like to fight? What he's doing. If he's just be skating around or driving around, trying to defend crime.
That's my game on it. That's why I don't tell you nothing.
Exactly. So we are joined tonight by a young man, Mr. Daniel Dasent-Thomson. Daniel, good evening.
Good evening.
And the bass coming in voice.
You realize it's only me, it's only me who have it. I'm the only person in this living room who have that.
So Daniel, before we go any further, we ask all of our guests one simple question when they sit here with us, either online, in person, over the phone, whatever it is. We're not asking you, where's the scene jelly bean? What's the gist therapist? Or what's the word hummingbird? We are asking you, Daniel, how are you?
I'm good. I'm still attacked, but I'm good.
Tired from training?
Yeah, training and trying to sort out all the stuff, but just back and forth, but it was good.
Right. So Daniel, off the bat, from your Instagram bio, if you're looking for him on Instagram, it is Stretch DDT. Right? Real simple, Stretch DDT. Daniel is a fighter. He fights in the discipline of Taekwondo. So Daniel, the first question I want to ask you, why Taekwondo?
I think growing up, I was always an extremely wild child, and I've always, since I can remember, always been getting into fights. And it was never really out any kind of like vexation. It was just like wildness, and getting a whole heap of trouble growing up. And my mom and my brothers decided maybe putting me in like martial arts or something might be a more positive outcome. So like I dabbled in Taekwondo, I've also done MMA as well when I was younger. But then as I got older, I started to focus more on Taekwondo, seeing that there's a potential of reaching Olympics. So over the years, I kind of cut out the MMA a bit and kind of focus on Taekwondo for now.
Alright, no, I normally I ask some kind of weird questions, but I just making sure we never fight, right? We ain't fall out anyway, no car park or...
No.
Alright. Right, no, that off the board.
That would have been very awkward.
It would have been awkward, you know. All also at messaging France. Hey, France, WTF, brother? What the France?
You said I'm on that before. That's when we did interview.
Yeah. But when I was going through your socials, and I was really encouraged. I was really encouraged by it because you seem to be about your business. You know, it encouragement, but also kind of disappointment too, because, and I jump in straight in, it's a one-man team we have going up for Taekwondo this year.
For the Olympic qualifiers?
Yeah.
So right now for the Olympic qualifiers, for Pan American Olympic Qualifiers 2024 for Taekwondo, we have me as the sole male, and then we have one female, and then coach, and that's it. That's it.
So a 3-person team.
Pretty much, yeah.
I jump in one time. Normally, you know, you're supposed to make sure you're comfortable and get into the floor and thing too, but this is not your first rodeo, right? I saw a couple of the presses, the interviews, and I really want to find out from you now. Now, Aaron asked you a question, why Taekwondo, right? And you saw the opportunity for Olympic progression, but there's a kind of a why. What I want to know is the what for. Like, what happens to you when you come back to Trinidad and Tobago with this medal now? Like, what are you doing this for?
So as I mentioned before, I'm also, besides I guess Taekwondo itself as my sole discipline at the moment, I've also been into MMA and stuff like that. And I guess like some other sports could relate to this, but sometimes you love a sport and you have aspirations in the sport, but it's kind of hard to identify with somebody who looks like you, speaks like you, comes from a background like you. So for me, for instance, it's a very powerful thing looking at UFC and seeing somebody like Leon Edwards, who's a Jamaican born, but now a UFC welterweight champion. So he walks out with like Dexter Daps and stuff. So for me, it's kind of encouraging seeing somebody who, I guess, will listen to Caribbean music or come from somewhat of a similar background to me. So I think in a minority sport like Taekwondo, I think it'll be a very big thing to have representation of somebody at that level, because we haven't had somebody in the Olympics with Taekwondo in probably like 20 years, and nobody from the Caribbean has medaled. I think one of the main things is trying to get you representation that you could come from here and you could do these things, because it's kind of like you hear the cliche like you could do all these things that you put your mind to, but it's kind of hard to see somebody who has nothing in common with you doing these things. But I think the main thing I'm trying to show, like, somebody who did CXC, somebody who went through the whole secondary school system just like you're going through could do these things. But I think representation of something that's familiar to people within the Caribbean and by extension Trinidad to be specific is one of the most, I guess, things at the forefront of my mind.
And I'm gonna say that's huge because, you know, honestly, as an athlete, no, and I can't speak for myself. I'm a casual sweater, just say, right?
Informal athlete.
Wow, thank you.
Right,
but as an athlete, one of the goals I would think is reaching the pinnacle of competition, which is the Olympics or for your region, if it's Pan Am Games or whatever it may be. So to know that as a goal, because you also want to show people that here what's going on. You may not come from an environment that nurtures these kinds of sports. right? In terms of, Taekwondo is not the traditional sport in Trinidad and Tobago. You would do it as you said, when you were younger, you had that excess burst of energy. And as I say, you like to fight. I just had to keep drawing reference to that part. But, people just use it as a discipline, as a hobby. But you are now trying to show that this sport that people just casually participate in is also now something that you could pursue as a career. Because beside fighting, gosh, I don't know what keeps saying fighting.
Combat sports. Yeah.
Right, thank you very much. Beside the combat sport, is there any other thing that you do in terms of, do you balance a working career with this, or this is a full-time?
So yeah, I have been working for a little bit, and I've also been pursuing my bachelor's degree. But at the moment, all of that's kind of on pause the next few months to try and see how much I could dedicate to this and really qualify for the Olympics and see how far I could go. Well, probably medal. So everything else is kind of on pause at the moment.
I want public holiday.
I'm not gonna say that. I wouldn't mind. I always like a public holiday. But the next thing I want to ask, right? Do they have Taekwondo competitions locally that you participate in?
There is local competitions, but there's few and far between. So growing up in Taekwondo, maybe once a year, twice a year, if they get lucky, there are local competitions. So I think, and then within the Caribbean, it still isn't much competition. So you really need, the closest place you can go for Taekwondo competition is like Latin America. So you get out to like Costa Rica, or Mexico, or like Dominican Republic, any of these places. These are the closest places you can get like regular high-level competition.
So that means that the fact that you're heading to the Pan Am Games in a couple of weeks, right? The qualifiers, as you would say, this is not the first time you'll be leaving Trinidad and Tobago to compete.
I think I guess the biggest platform that I've been able to compete on and result-wise before this one would be my coach and I attended the Central American Caribbean Games last year, and that one we just missed out on the bronze medal and came fourth. So that was the biggest platform I've been able to be on so far.
Okay.
Yeah, as I say, fourth there, it reminds me of a young lady who made an interesting accomplishment this weekend here.
Yes. Gosh, I can't find it. I have so much apps open on the phone
The
right now.
pageant
The Miss World.
was Miss World, right?
Yeah.
And the young lady, what's her name? It's something with an A. Ashley?
Yes.
So Ashley is the first name, but the last name.
Ashley Abraham.
I think
She
the
was
first name.
placed fourth
Ashley Abraham.
place in the Miss World pageant for 2024. Congratulations to Ashley and her entire team.
So my thing is, everybody Saturday morning was all over social media cheering her on and excited. But I know she had a lot of support prior to that. Do you feel that the athletics, do you feel that sports gets the same kind of support going in, or is pretty much the wait until they come back home with something to once they get on board?
Unfortunately, I think as the latter, I don't think there is much support any upfront. And I think recently I've been kind of trying to get out of my zone. I'm normally a more quiet guy, and really trying to leverage social media. And from leveraging the social media, a lot of opportunities start to come, and a lot of people start to ask questions. And so I think unfortunately, without utilizing tools like that in sport in Trinidad currently, they don't really hear about it until they actually do something.
And that's the sad thing, and it doesn't just it just isn't limited to sports, because we also don't recognize some of our artists until they travel outside.
Right.
We don't recognize some of our artists until they make it big on the outside stage. So I think that's something that has to change within our culture, that we need to start to support the artists or the athletes on a come-up story, on their transcendency, their ascendancy
Before they go
to
up there.
greatness. Yes.
You glow up the young people, let's call it, no?
I think so. I'm not young anymore. Because the youth forums is up to the age of 35 when I pass like.
Yeah. Hit my heart the other day when I tell you, a young man asked my phone to join the youth group. I nearly had a heart attack. What? I said, so yeah, it have no bracket that I will qualify as a youth anymore, you know. The most you might get is early onset.
Wow.
Sorry. You're hearing some. You give us there's a bonus running in the background.
Of course.
Yeah, give you a little volume on it now because you know today's if I don't know if to call her age or not, but today's her birthday.
Today's Bonet's birthday.
Happy birthday, Bonnet, big
You
friend.
serious?
Yeah.
And today is my aunt's birthday. That's Lisa. My aunt Lisa. Yeah.
Oh
And two of them are really great friends. So to know
happy
that
birthday, Lisa.
that's a real coincidence, boy.
Yeah, her birthday twin.
And today's Cat's birthday.
Kes? As in Morrison or the front one?
No, the president of the Red Man Association.
Alright.
Are you a member of the Red Man Association? Also, happy belated birthday to Daddy.
Yeah.
My dad, yeah. His birthday was Sunday.
Happy birthday, sir. Wait now. Kinda close, boy.
And happy birthday in advance to my aunt Debbie as well. She's tomorrow.
Well, while you're at it, anybody else? You have any birthdays this week?
Alright.
Alright, man. Well, I'm curious. Stretch DDT. Now, apparently, I am average height for Afro-Caribbean male. To me, you look like about 6'7". That's why they call it stretch?
So yeah, for my mom and my dad, I'm the last child. I'm the tallest, so I've always been referred to as Stretch. And I think that's kind of stuck over the years, and it's kind of leaned into the nickname as I got older.
Nice. But how tall are you?
6'5".
Yeah.
I was going for 6'5" or 6'6".
Yeah,
But here now, one side note here. As Trinidadians, our nickname game is top tier. We have some real interesting nicknames and all, if it's one thing. But, so Daniel, I guess that you have been doing this for at least 20 years.
Let's see. I would have started, I believe, somewhere around July, August 2010 when I first started Taekwondo. So I was like, what, 14 years ago? Yeah.
Okay.
Aaron, what you tell the man at least 20 years?
At least 20 years?
How many think he is?
25.
Very close. Recently turned 26.
Alright, nice one.
I'm good with the height and I'm good with the age. So I thought you were honestly, because when you said you started because your parents thought with the excess energy, I would have assumed that you would have started at a young age and not at what I don't even call adolescent years.
Pre-adolescent. Preteen. But that means it's almost a decade and a half. And if you're doing anything for a decade and a half, you're supposed to be a veteran.
Yeah.
To a certain degree, because I think with Taekwondo, I guess you're familiar with the sport, you're familiar, I guess, with training and whatnot, but I think the first big gap comes when you're turn 17 and you start to go into senior competition, because you're like age groups, so you might be like, if I remember properly, I think it's like 14 to 17 is juniors. And then when you hit 17, you start going into senior categories, and where you could be 17 years old fighting 28-year-old guys been doing this a long time. So I think that's where the next big step comes in. So in terms of sport, they have been doing it a while, but kind of still somewhat, I think, on the later end of it, but still somewhat new to senior high-level competition.
Okay.
Something I've witnessed from, I believe it was France and even the Taekwondo community is very, I don't want to call it family centric, but there's a
close-knit relationship.
They have a closeness that even if it's a combat sport, it seems to be the type of thing that everybody enjoys the competition and the.
Yeah, what's that? Yeah, I think with the combat sport it's kind of a way I think they say what is true. I think is you get very unique friendships by trying to beat up each other.
And we back to the fighting.
Because it takes a level of trust. It will definitely develop respect, and you can't lie while you're fighting, you know.
Definitely.
You know, so it's honesty.
Definitely.
Yeah. But that's so. But the reason I brought that up is because I noticed some of the guys who have a couple more years in it, you know, they start training the younger members as well. So have you gotten to that point yet where you have help with the coaching or anything like that?
Currently speaking, I've been helping my coach with the younger ones more recently. I think it really is beneficial because it teaches you a lot more in terms of like the patience, and then you somewhat have to figure out how to teach things properly. And when you start teaching properly, it kind of opens up your mindset to certain things or different ways of approaching situations that may not necessarily be what I would think of.
Yeah, I always believe that teachers make good teachers, but students make great teachers. You know, is actually when you're actually trying to teach somebody else, you realize how much more there is to it. And Taekwondo is very technical, you know, so there's a high level of precision required to do everything. So did that help you with like your concentration and your discipline and that type of thing, or it's still a work in progress?
I mean, I think it has helped, but I do still think it's a work in progress, but it definitely helps. I think the most difficult is really how do you captivate like 4 or 5 year olds who do Taekwondo? How do you captivate their attention, and how do you, I guess, slow things down and impart proper technique while not boring them? So I think working with the even younger ones, it is a bit more challenging. So I think it's still a work in progress, but it's a fun dynamic to try and figure out.
Now, as Carter said, coming in hard with some of these questions, huh? So in the past 15 years of you competing within this sport and learning it and now teaching it, what is one of the most interesting lessons that you yourself have learned during this tenure?
Well, for me personally, I guess self-control, because for me going into it, I was extremely wild all over the place, and as a young child, it was kind of hard to understand where you go to school, you do some wildness, you get in a fight, you get in trouble, and then you come to Taekwondo, you do the same thing as all claps and praises, and like, oh, you could go on this trip and you could go to a foreign country and do the same thing. Like, it's a kind of hard thing to understand. Like, one situation, I guess, you get in trouble for it, the other situation, you get praised for it. So I think over the years, for me personally, it was kind of really learning self-control and learning that how to discipline yourself, and then to the situations of if a situation arises, okay, yeah, you may know how to defend yourself, but probably should first attempt move away from it. Where in my younger days, like in my secondary school days, I think people who went to school, they would say secondary school, anything happen, first thing they go to fight, not talk. So I think for me, it's always be self-control and understanding, I could potentially do this, but is it worth doing it, or is the outcome going to be good? And that's really learning the self-control. And I think when people hear martial arts, they think about, like in the fight, I do like the fight, but now I just kind of keep it into the training area or competition, and outside of that, try to avoid it as much as possible. So I think the biggest thing is self-control.
I'm real glad you're on asked that question, because you see, one of the angles that we like to take in the living room is that we are about being better citizens, right? We are about looking at what we could do to help the youth as opposed to just quarreling about them. You know, the things that we could lean into. And I know martial arts has long had this reputation of your child having discipline problems, put them in martial arts. Like, that's just supposed to fix everything without the work going in and the attention and the support. You know, and I think the support of your friends and family is a big thing too, because it have people who will just gas you up to run in a situation when when well, the consequences of this might be more than it would, but that's why you don't know, because you had some experience, you went through the things, and being involved now where you could help the youths now in terms of you teaching them certain things because they don't have to go through everything to learn what you learn.
True.
You know, so like if let me put it this way, I talking it. You go, win a medal. Not just win a medal. First Caribbean, first Trinity medal in Taekwondo. Olympic Taekwondo. You come back home. What school you going to talk to the youths first?
Well, for me personally, definitely had to be my alma mater. I love that school to death. So that is Queen Georgia College. Definitely that'll be the first stop.
And that's how I want you to think about it. Right? You know, what you gonna do with it? Because there's one thing when you get in that ring, when you're not on that mat, the judges there, the audience there, the thing might be televised. Everything that you train for going to come to a point of why are you going through this way? You know, people just talk about these competitive sports and thing, and combat sports are a little different than other athletics, because I'm not saying other sports do hurt and they don't challenge you, but getting hit intentionally is not fun.
It's also not for the weak-minded as well.
Right? So I want you to hold on to that. When I medal, what I gonna do? Right? You know, so I'm real glad to hear you talking.
Now,
The way you're talking.
one thing we preach inside the living room as well is a sense of community, right? Now, this question is twofold. So the first part is, how much support have you received along this journey from family and friends?
I think over the years, family has been the first thing, even though sometimes they don't understand it, because like sometimes my mom will be like, why you don't do like a normal sport where you're not getting hit and stuff, and like, okay. And I've had like my close friends who have always been interested, but I think after trying to push the social media, a lot of people have started to show interest. And like, I'm not really an expert in social media. I don't really know how to use social media. So like, one of my good classmates' sister who does photography and stuff, and has her own studio now, Gift for Gals, she's really been assisting me with, I guess, posting stuff, taking videos. She helped me with some of the reels. I guess the last few photos I posted on, she did those photos for me. So she's been a great asset in terms of trying to push the social media, and from pushing the social media, a lot more interest has started to come from outside. But family and close friends of family, I think, has been the major support from like I was 12 until now, and then now starting to, I guess, gain a wider audience.
Right. So that's first part. The second part now, traveling to these places to compete, seeing that we don't have the top level competition here in Trinidad, is also not cheap.
Yeah.
So financially, how has that support been? Because I know for an extent you had to take money out of your own pocket to make sure you could go and, I don't want to say ply your trade, but rep the country, right? So the financial support, because we know that that's a part of why you're here today, because as it is, you gotta ask. As Tony say, closed mouths don't get fed. Correct, so we come to ask today. How has the financial support been thus far?
Well, growing up, first few tournaments I could think of, my siblings were the main support in terms of finances for that. And then I think as I got older, I started to become a little more independent. There's been barbecues, garage sales, anything you could think of to try and raise funds. And then now, I guess having some level of achievement under my name, trying to approach like the ministry and trying to approach companies to try and help out, because between training and then I was organizing schoolwork and working and trying to do fundraisers is just getting really hard. So and then trying to balance it between, okay, you're putting out this much money, trying to get back this much money. It's taken a long time to raise funds. So now trying to approach the ministry and corporate Trinidad in terms of, this is who I am, this is what I have achieved so far, this is we attending Olympic qualifiers, this is what we hope to achieve, and kind of show them the vision to kind of gain some support, because it's costing a lot of money to try and make this dream happen.
Right now, and we'll just say it off the bat. This is where now you can get involved, Trinidad and Tobago and the wider world. And luckily, you don't have to go too far to make a donation. You can head across to Fund Me TNT. That is a very familiar website. If you are a head whack listener, and you just have to search for the Olympics 2024 journey, right?
You could also find the link for it all over my social media, either Daniel Dasent-Thomson or Stretch CVT.
Right, I will make sure and share it as well, because we have to share this message. We can't just focus on buying tickets to go parties. We can't just focus on buying food from everywhere. We also have to focus on supporting our athletes as they on the way to success. Because and I hate to talk about these things now. We know corporate Trinidad and Tobago.
You already love to talk about
I know that. I'm trying to go. Again, remember we going from the angle today and you say something controversial.
Oh, right. Yes, correct.
To make people listen. Wow. Wow. Right? We all know that corporate Trinidad and Tobago is only supported when it's successful. And success most times is always when you win a gold medal or you made it to the Olympics. We need to change that narrative and start to support the athletes who are trying to reach to the Olympics. Because, and if you face it, and I'm sure anybody who listening could call and support me on this, how many of us knew about Keyshawn Walker before he won the gold?
Facts. I think we were on a boat ride and the news come in and we started coming from
a holiday. How many of us, when Trinidad and Tobago made the World Cup in 2006, were going to the games when we was playing Grenada and Manny Ramjohn? But you know what? The avid football fan like myself couldn't get a ticket when we was playing Bahrain in the stadium.
Well, that sounds more like an administration issue because you're supposed to be like a season ticket holder by now or something.
No, remember, you had to line up for tickets by Skinner Park from 5 o'clock in the morning.
Maybe you didn't know the right people all then era. But you're a bit of a big shot now, you know. I'm pretty certain they will send tickets.
They don't. They don't. But what I'm saying is, we need to shift our focus in Trinidad and Tobago to supporting our athletes. Because we have many athletes, but today we are here to talk about Daniel. And we're here to talk about Daniel's journey to the Pan Am Games, which is going to be taking place in Santo Domingo on April 9th and 10th, where he's trying to earn one of the top 2 spots to make it to the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. I was going to say in Paris, but
Paris 2024 Olympic Games.
Okay, Paris,
technically, they have Paris in Texas too.
Okay.
But I want to ask you to indulge me for a minute here. I want to paint a picture for the listeners. Olympics start. You're going through the sports, you're searching the channels in whatever capacity between the internet providers and who have the little unboxes. Anyway, you're looking for your sports, and then you come across the red, white, and black in the corner of your screen, TTO, in a sport that we only have 2 athletes for the team, and at least one of them get through. And you stop and you go to somebody in the kitchen, or you pick up your phone and a message and you ask somebody, wait now, we have somebody in Taekwondo? Who's that? And then you're sharing and you're buying papers and you're telling everybody about how Trinidad plays and Trinidad medal. And look, he advanced. And look, the young boy fighting. What I'm saying is, you don't have to get to that stage in the journey to be involved and to feel a sense of pride and accomplishment and community because your country and your region being represented. You have an opportunity now to get involved. Make a donation. Go to the Fund Me TNT and make that donation. And the reason I'm saying that is because as quiet as he is here, he ain't telling all there. You wouldn't be on a flight on when is the next flight? You know, going to Costa Rica this week?
Well, we're supposed to be leaving for Costa Rica tomorrow, but still waiting to see how we could finalize funds to go on tomorrow.
And they're still trying to finalize funds for tomorrow.
This is the difference listeners, you might not be able to support everybody all the time, but you have an opportunity to support him now. You could imagine you're supposed to be going to another country to fight literally for the opportunity to represent your country, and the day before your match, you ain't sure where the support coming from to reach. Come on, I think we could do better than that, and I'm making a pledge. As soon as I reach home and I'm back on my internet, I'm gonna make a donation to the site.
Much appreciated.
Right. I put my money where my mouth is, because one, I want you to come back and do an interview with us, and I don't want to be one of those guys who was like, yeah, well, boy, I was clapping hard.
Nah, honestly, I'll make a donation as well. I know when they come back, they come back with the gold medal, so we can take a picture with it and be like, we were supporting you
on
the way as well.
That sounds like a deal.
That is a deal.
Yeah.
That is a deal. Right? So Aaron, you had to buy your own dinner tonight. I'm using
No, I do the I was planning. I was going to say something. I want to do that.
Okay.
Total side note: we didn't get to wipe our feet or hang our hat when we came here in Ghana. I just want to take a very quick spot to say this,
sure,
because it is piggybacking on what we are saying in terms of the listeners of WAC. Right? Today I got a call from a listener who would have gone back on YouTube, I think it was, about the interview we had with Dr. Clay. And she contacted me with regard to getting her contact information
to
access the services. So we always say you don't know who's be listening. But what I'm saying is, for you, those of you who listen live or you go back and listen now, listen later. Donate now or donate later. The link is open for you to donate. So the same way how you may sit in silence and listen and be like, them young fellas talking something good enough. Maybe I just say young fellas. But them fellas talking something good enough. Back up you're talking something good with the donations as well. Because we're not just doing this because we just trying to make, as I say, trying to build content. No. We bring these athletes on or our guests on because you know what? We believe in what they are doing. And this is how we show support, by giving them a space and an opportunity to talk about their journey. Now, Daniel, I just want to, before we go back and repeat the links and stuff like that, I want to ask you a couple, we'll call them personal questions, but there's an opportunity for us to get to know you too.
Yeah.
Because we always just see the athletes and then you'll interview them after and you'll ask for the success and all these different things. But we know you're training hard. But outside of training, what do you do? Like, what do you enjoy doing?
Outside of training, I'm pretty nerdy, so I like a lot of science stuff. So in terms of like the schooling that I kind of put off for the period of time I was studying to do a bachelor's in chemistry. So there's a lot of
favorite subject.
The most different.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, well done, sir.
Yeah, boy.
Well done.
So I've played around with a lot of just crazy experiments in my yard. I like history, so I look at a lot of history documentaries. I'm not really huge going out kind of guy every now and then, but I enjoy spending time with my dog. Take my dog for some runs sometimes. Yeah, I'm pretty much a house buddy. Not much outside. So I'm pretty nerdy.
All right. And what is your favorite post-training meal?
Oh, no, this is tricky.
That's what?
This is a little bit tricky.
Oh wow, this man was
Suppose there's not gonna compromise any sponsors or anything, right?
No. The reason why I say that's tricky is because I'm in a sport that's very much weight oriented, and I'm a guy who likes food and has a big appetite. So food and meal and sport has always been a little troublesome thing.
Yeah.
But I think normally after training, if I was to get away with it, probably like something like lamb and fries or something like that would normally be a go-to, but try to stay away from it.
Until after. You're on the way setting up the man, right?
No, and that's the thing.
You hungry?
Probably. No, but it was an intentional question because I also want to chime in on this next part. when France was here, we spoke about diet.
Yeah.
Now you are training for sports, as you said, that is weight oriented. And if you don't understand what is meant by that, that is the sports where you have to stay within a certain weight class to be able to compete, right? Now you have to balance your love for food with training to maintain your weight or to stay within a specific box of a weight grouping. And we understand how difficult that could be. How many days a week do you train to meet the optimal, I don't want to say target, but the optimal fitness level to compete?
Well, currently I train Monday to Saturday twice every day, and then Sundays will just be like a little bit of a run. That's all.
That's a little bit
That
of a
little
run,
bit
you
of
know.
a run.
That's the off day, you know.
This man's training
After recovery.
This man's training every day, you know.
2 days, you know.
Twice a day, you know.
Like 12 times for the week.
13.
Oh, I will go. Give my answer, right? But yeah, 13 times for the week. Man, that is commitment. That is commitment. That is dedication. That is discipline. I'll be honest with you. If I had the diligence to do 2 days for anything, I'd have been an expert. And I firmly believe, sir, that you're well on your way. You're well on your way. This is the first time we've had a 6'5" chemist, historian, dog-loving martial artist, in the living room. So, yet wait, how tall Duff was?
6'6".
6'6".
I beat him for a header.
You tell that story. I ain't so sure that's exactly how he remember it, but alright, so as the second oldest person in the living room, man, I can't imagine what it's like for you to reach the level of success that you already achieved and for the next level. I want to tell you that being introduced to you through friends, I'm glad that I met you. I'm proud of you already.
Yeah.
And I'm really gonna make it my objective. Like, I don't think people understand, we almost couldn't do this interview because you're flying out in a day.
Yeah.
Right? God willing, you're flying out in a day. I think for my birthday this year, which is the end of next month, but leading up to that, I'm gonna ask people that I don't want anything from you. I don't want a line. I don't want a gift. I want to make a contribution to somebody who's trying to do something with their life. I wish when I was 26, that I had the full financial support of a community behind me because I knew what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
That's the way that I look at this. I can't go back and change it, but I could help somebody else on their walk now.
Exactly. It could help somebody achieve their goal with the platform that we have now.
Yeah.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, I'm a little emotional right now. Right? I'm a little emotional right now, but I wish when I was 26 that I could have been so single-minded about them. I wish at 36 I could have been that single-minded. I mean, I don't want to say that. I wish it's more than I could have been that single-minded, but that's pretty much the direction that we're heading in. At the end of the day, guys, let's reward the diligence and the commitment. And let's celebrate the fact that there are people trying to walk the hard roads.
Question. I know, judging from what we spoke about with Kivo last week, we understand that a good portion of our population does not have a credit card.
That's a good catch.
How can we donate locally?
So as of right now, if the credit card situation is a problem, through the same social media, you can contact me directly and I could provide bank information and stuff. Because I think FundMe TNT doesn't allow debit cards in Trinidad, I think. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they don't.
So if that's the issue, you could contact me through search DDT on Instagram or Daniel Dasent-Thomson on Facebook or anything like that, and I'll respond.
Alright.
Okay. Because we have to be able to
yeah, and not only that too, I could use my credit card and FundMe TNT. What if I can make a direct deposit?
yeah, to save on them charges.
I ain't trying to jump with the FundMe TNT. Yeah, just saying that you're right here is a significantly smaller percentage of the population has access to their own credit card than You would think. So I'm glad that you asked that question as well. So
Let's think of good questions sometimes.
I realized that the longer you stay quiet, is the better your question is being.
Yeah. No, I was actually sorting out somebody's trying to make a donation right now, and they were encountering some issues.
So
So
what we're talking about.
trying
So
to
let them
talk
go.
to that person and then
Mhm.
also talk to Kenny at the same time.
All right. Hey, Kenderson.
Yeah, he's back.
All right, nice man, nice. So he making a donation too?
We would hope so.
All right, nice. Because I mean, if we bring in Olympians and thing into the studio, you gotta show you support from in front.
We would hope so.
Because I mean, we are culture crazy. Culture is our.
Sports is also part of our culture.
So Stretch DDT on Instagram. And we know what the stretch is for now. 6'5" the man saying, G's and H's. Anyway, and Daniel Dasent-Thomson. Can we get a proper spelling on that Thompson? Because there's no P.
Yeah, my Thompson is THOMSON, no P.
Alright. So Daniel DANIEL DASENT
Yep.
hyphen
THOMSON. Yeah.
Alright, great. And what I will also do is by the time we get home tonight and I edit and put this up, I'm gonna make sure that we have the flyer, not the flyers, but the visuals from your socials and that type of thing, so people can make sure they're contacting the right people to make the right thing happen. I will also include the Fund Me TNT link in the description.
Much appreciated.
You know, and Judge, we have a lot going on right now, and I really feel like if we could help where we could help, I mean, drop by drop, we could fill the bucket, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know why I'm feeling like this about this, but yeah, let me be honest. I know why, because I wish that I could have followed up with combat sports. Like when I was young, I wanted to be a boxer, but you know when you're chubby, short, glasses wearing, coming first in tests. You know what he's saying? This boy want to be a boxer. It's something that you put away because it don't fit you, You know, and then when did some personal training and then started training with Kerry Grant from the Southern Warriors of Mixed Martial Arts. This was when like the school was now starting up. And the first time he bring a waiver for me to sign to enter a tournament, I was like, Jaden, you can't afford to pursue this at this stage in your life. It was too late for that now. So I guess the reason that I feel the way that I feel and speaking the way that I'm speaking is because I seen somebody have an opportunity to pursue a dream that I wish I had the courage and the means to pursue when I was several years younger. So there's a personal thing for me. It's deeply personal. So thank you for that. Yeah, feeling like, you're running for the ask, man. How are you? No? Yeah, you would get the.
I've actually had some exposure to Southern Warriors because when I did MMA, I used to do it to the Rough House, and we used to have some competitions where they used to come across. So familiar with some of the guys.
Yeah. I don't think Kerry was competing all that. He has the head, as the sensei, he would have been strong. Kerry.
Yeah.
And well, as I say, France put us on to you. And I'm glad that he did. So hey, big up you, France. And I also want to shout out the other segment contributors, Dana Tanku with Please and Tanku. We hoping that we could get something going again. And Richard Williams, Willie with a Y. I give him a gift from Aaron finally. I will let you know how it tastes and what effects it had or didn't have. But I'm looking forward to the loose juice. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys for being a part of the family and for making it easier for us to reach more people so that we could get some things done.
Yeah.
You get through the Aaron?
No, I'll sort it out after.
Alright, cool.
Again, buff, once you talk to Kenny, he's got buff.
There you want to go to other business, yeah? Yeah. So Daniel, tell us a little bit about you and this Taekwondo. Now you said that you've had some successes that you could take to the ministry. You know what? But what? I mean, for somebody who didn't get to go through the socials yet, what have you done? What do you feel like you've done so far?
So I think in terms of the direction for the Olympics, in terms of where I stand in the region, I think the biggest litmus test so far was CAC Games, because heading into CAC Games, which is Central American Caribbean Games, I was ranked 5th in the region. and then we just missed out on a medal by finishing fourth. And within the region, it will be the Pan American region. So I think already within the Central American region, I was pretty high up in the rankings. And then a lot of these guys who I encountered in CAC would be in the Pan American Olympic qualifiers. So I think I've already had somewhat of a gauge of where I am and how far off I am and what needs to be done. And I've been training literally every day, not missing sessions, going to train with the national coach, also doing gym with the Sport TT Elite Athlete gym. So I think that particular tournament, like for me, was the big litmus test of, okay, we spoke about Olympic qualifiers, but this was the real litmus test because becoming a national champion and I guess going to like Costa Rica Open and Aruba Open, all these other tournaments I did, they're a bit, I guess I'd say a little bit low scale in terms of CAC is kind of a stepping stone to get into the Olympics. So I guess that was my first CAC games and really getting that exposure. And you're seeing people who compete in the CAC who have already been to the Olympics, already have Olympic medals. I kind of really seeing, okay, you're seeing these people and you know who they are, but yeah, they don't look too different to me. The way they're training and warming up and competing and don't look too different to me. And the positioning, granted that I would have loved to get a medal, I mean it fell just short, but the podium wasn't that far for me. So like, okay, you see these people and you almost for some reason think some other worldly person, but then you see them there and I'm a Trinidadian. So like the team that we had in CAC wasn't big, and you see these people from like Mexico, like 4 coaches and like 2 therapists, and they all the other are full contingents, and then you have people waving the flag and making noise, and then you go and compete and just have all that. But still, minus all that extra flair, it's like too far off of where we need to be. So I think CAC really solidified that. Okay, we're on the right track. Just have to continue grinding, putting some more work, and we could definitely come out the bag with us.
So you like within touching distance of your dreams?
I believe so. I think as I mentioned with the CNC3 interview I did very recently, I think the main difference between us and them is not skill, it's not fitness or anything. I mean, all these things can improve, but I think the main thing is actual match competition experience, because competing or sparring and training is one thing, but when you reach a competition and you see the lights and cameras and everything, it's a little different to training. And if you're not accustomed to it, it could be really shocking to you and kind of hard to really settle into your rhythm and realize. I mean, there are some people like perform way better in training than they do in competition. So I think being in that position where it was high stakes in terms of, I think I was the only tournament I can think of in recent times where the Ministry of Sport paid for everything for me.
Right.
So that by itself was a whole big thing for me, because hey, I'm actually getting some money this time. And I was like,
big up you, Ministry of Sport. Big up you.
And then also the CAC was able to go and watch other Trinidad athletes, watching hockey players. So it was a whole big experience for me. And then being at that level of competition and realizing, hey, with a little more competition experience and continuing training, we can really make this happen. No longer like dreaming. It's like, hey, we're almost there. We almost there. We can make this happen.
It's doable.
Yeah, it's definitely doable. I mean, not saying it will be easy, but definitely doable.
So one of the things that came to mind while you were speaking, man, this is such a trip. It right there. The level that he spoke, putting words in his mouth, just bear with me. But it's not that the skill level in the area is different, you know. We're talking about the exposure, the experience level, because you have to bear with me. You when you go to the secondary school football games, or you go to the what's the name of our league now?
Trinidad Premier Football League.
The PFL, right? And you have 20 or 30 people on a good day in your crowd. That's very different to when you go into a space where you have hundreds or thousands of people. The lights bright, you know, the room cool. There's a thing that happens when a competition is on that level. And it's not about the skill, it's about the experience, it's about the exposure, it's about the noise, it's about the fact that empty stadium going to have a different humidity to a full one. You know, it's just
the song does something will echo more in an empty stadium as opposed to a full one as well.
Yeah, you might even be able to hear your coach.
Yeah.
You know, there are things that you need the competition level experience.
And to do that, we need the support of the Trinidad and Tobago wider community. So we are perilously close to the hour of 7 p.m. And Daniel, we want to allow you any closing remarks, anything you want to close up with.
Well, I want to say I want to thank everybody for the support and allowing me to speak today. A lot of from pushing the social media, a lot of opportunities start to come up, and I just hope that continue to get the support, because we're almost at Olympic qualifiers, and if you think about it, after Olympic qualifiers, it's about 3-4 months at Olympics. So the road is almost like coming to the end of this Olympic cycle, and just continue to support me, because I intend on making history, because I do believe when I do qualify, a lot of people are going to be like, wait, Trinidad, we don't normally see them here, like what's going on? But it's good to show people sometimes.
Yeah, and I gonna take the opportunity as a press man to call out QRC. Hey, on your back on your boy. Don't let Sandoman end up showing more support than Ole. Anyway, that's a conversation we could take outside. Okay. You're on your right there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look like you get good buff, boy.
No. No.
Yeah. But you say perilously close, so this is Ricardo Mitchell, the social stage on the global stage. Thanking you for joining us in the living room. Remember guys, the hourglass is opaque. We don't know how much time remains, so whatever you're doing, be good and stay safe.
And remember, head across the fund, me T&T. You can search for Olympic 2024, and you're heading across there to make a donation to support Daniel. Alright? We will post the link in the description to the video that we'll be posting. As I always end, I tell you that culture is my code. And as much as we spoke about fighting today, I also remind you that love is the currency. So spend some today. Let somebody know that you love them. Keep it locked to the True Nation station. Mr. Desmond is up next with the big band. Or before we go, Daniel, thank you very much for taking time. This might be the secondary training sessions for the day that you must be in here.
Well, when I drive about 100 on makeup sessions, it's all good.
Yeah, I give up. I give up. Keep it locked, Mr. Desmond is up next.